Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into Operation Sindoor, a fictional military conflict that really took on a life of its own online. But we're not just going to retell the story. We are going to break down how this narrative was built, piece by piece, to create something so dramatic and, for many, so believable. So the whole thing kicks off with this one incredibly powerful line, which the story attributes to India's prime minister. This isn't just a throwaway quote, it's the entire mission statement for the narrative, right? It's a very specific tone for everything that's about to unfold. So you have to ask, what happened to trigger such an intense call for revenge? Well, the story's catalyst is this really brutal incident. And just look at the language used to frame it. It's not just described as an attack on people, but an assault on the soul of the country. That's a classic storytelling move, you know? It raises the stakes to the absolute maximum right from the get-go. The source material gets very specific with this timeline, which helps to build a sense of realism. It all starts on April 22nd with this attack in Pahalgam. And the narrative makes a crucial point of saying that Hindu tourists were singled out and killed. A group, TRF, claims they did it, and the political reaction is immediate. The prime minister rushes back to Delhi for an emergency security meeting. 26. Remember that number. It represents the 25 tourists and one local guide who died in the attack. In the story, this isn't just a number. It's the moral justification. It's the why behind every single action that's about to come. Now get this. Before a single bullet is fired, the story describes this huge diplomatic move. India suspends the Indus Waters Treaty, which is this really important water-sharing agreement with Pakistan. The message, as the story puts it, is crystal clear. Blood and water cannot flow together. It's a massive escalation before the military part even begins. Okay, so with that political line drawn in the sand, the story completely shifts gears. The focus is now off of diplomacy and squarely on planning a secret military operation. A plan that's designed to hit back hard and deliver a message that, in the world of this story, won't be forgotten. And the name they choose for this mission? Operation Sindoor. Wow, it is absolutely packed with symbolism. The story tells us it was specifically named to avenge the widows of the attack. By linking the operation to such a powerful cultural symbol, the narrative makes this act of revenge feel deeply personal and emotional. The plan they come up with is a classic three-part strategy. First up, surprise. Launch from a southern airbase totally unexpected. Second, overwhelming firepower. Use these modified Su-30 jets armed with BrahMos supersonic missiles. And third, precision. Hit 9 specific pre-identified terror camps with surgical strikes. So the plan is locked in. The story then jumps to the night of May 7th. This is it. This is when everything is set in motion. The narrative does a great job of building tension here, describing this quiet, focused preparation happening across different air bases as the final moments tick away. And then, bang. 1:45 a.m., the operation goes live. The story paints this picture of a massive, coordinated attack. You've got squadrons of Su-30s coming from the south, plus Rafales and Mirage 2000s from other bases, all crossing not just the line of control, but the international border. And this is where you really see the layers of the attack they're describing. This wasn't just jets dropping bombs. No way. The narrative includes electronic warfare planes to blind Pakistani radar, long-range BrahMos missiles hitting command centers from way out, and Pinaka rockets just hammering their launch pads. It's a picture of a perfectly synchronized, overwhelming first strike. But of course, the initial strikes are just Act 1. A quick, clean victory would be too simple, right? The story immediately escalates the whole thing into a direct, full-blown confrontation between the two air forces. So, in response, the story has Pakistan launching its own mission, Operation Bunyan on Marses. And this is a huge turning point. The conflict completely transforms. What India called a non-military strike on terrorists now becomes a direct military-on-military fight, with Pakistan firing back at Indian air bases. And right here, the narrative introduces its hero piece of technology, the S-400 Triumph air defense system. It's portrayed as the ultimate game changer, an impenetrable shield that just swats every single incoming missile and drone out of the sky. According to the story, nothing gets through. So, with its missile strategy totally failing, the story says Pakistan sends in the fighters. This kicks off a massive dogfight, pitting India's top jets, the Rafales, Su-30s, and Mirages, against Pakistan's F-16s and JF-17s. And just look at the scale of this fictional battle. The source claims more than 114 fighter jets were screaming through the sky. By calling it the largest air battle since the 1971 war, the story is trying to place this fictional event right alongside real, historical conflicts. All right, so after a couple of days of this incredibly intense fighting, which the story says has the whole world watching, the plot starts to move toward a conclusion. Resources are strained, international pressure is on, and things begin to de-escalate. And this timeline just shows how fast it all wraps up in the narrative. The counterattack kicks off on May 8th. After just 2 days of this huge dogfight, the story claims Pakistan's forces are depleted, and by 5 p.m. on May 10th, it's over. Pakistan asks for a ceasefire, and India agrees. So the fighting stops. The guns fall silent. And within the story, Operation Sindoor is considered a total victory. But the source material leaves us with this very ominous line, making it clear that this isn't the real end of the story. And that, right there, is the whole point. That's the final beat of this fictional saga. Operation Sindoor is framed as this massive military and technological win for India. But it ends on a cliffhanger. The masterminds behind the original attack in Pahalgam, they're still out there, hiding. And that ending serves one very clear purpose. It sets the stage perfectly for a sequel.